PWCC is a great way to sell your sports cards. If you're looking for a way to support the Cajun Cardboard YouTube channel, consider using the promo code Cajun, all caps, CAJUN, when you're selling your cards on the PWCC marketplace. Hey guys, Brian with Cajun Cardboard coming at you from the great state of Louisiana. Today we are doing the PWCC weekly auction number 99 recap, and I decided to expand the breadth of it and go to 96 cards, back the way we used to do it, because I got a little bit more time this morning. I'm sort of caught up on my cross-country collection, gold digging, and card submission stuff, and so I was like, let me get back to my roots and do almost a full 100 cards. We'll do 96 cards today. I won't have as much time to talk about the cards, but I've got about 20 of these bad boys looked up in Cardladder. Some of it's good, some of it's bad, and obviously it all depends on the perspective of whether you're the buyer, the seller, or the PC guy for this particular player or whatnot. So let's not waste any time. Let's get cranking here. I've got screen share set up, and we'll start with card number 96. Bird Magic PSA 7 does 1,000. Doncic continues to slide. The card's almost under $1,000 now. This PSA 10 Silver Prism sells for 1,080. Of course, that's popped like over 2,000 now. And believe it or not, look, I'm going to look this up just to show you guys. The card's down 41% over the last calendar year. We know how bad it is. If we scroll back to 2 years, shit gets really ugly. But over the last year even, it's down 41%. Even over the last 6 months, it's down 10%. And the kid is just absolutely mesmerizing. If it wasn't for a guy, a big fat guy in Denver named Nikola Jokic, we would be talking about Doncic as the best player in the world. I don't care what anybody says. We would. And I know LeBron had a good, in-season tournament. And I know Embiid won the MVP. And I know Giannis has something to say about that. But I'll be honest with you guys. Doncic doesn't have shit around him, and if Doncic was on a team like the Nuggets or the Bucks or the Sixers or the Lakers with what those guys have as a supporting cast, he'd be wearing rings. I'm just saying he would. He is that freaking good, and I have no dog in this hunt. I used to have a million zillion of these silver PSA 10s, and I sold all of them, and I sold all the base, and I sold every other color that I could possibly sell, but 2,259, that's primarily the issue. It's just the market correcting back from the absurd, inorganic, illogical explosion that we went through between 2018 and 2021. But anyway, this card continues to trend downward even over the last 3 months. And here's the issue. I want to show you this. How many days are there in a year? Even in Louisiana, there's only 365 days. This Doncic card has sold 377 times in 365 days. That probably denotes that it is not a rare card. And it is also not a card that collectors want to keep in their collection because that is about 1/7 of all of them in existence that have sold in the last 12 months. That's nuts. That's more than a Doncic card a day. You know how they say an apple a day keeps the doctor away? Well, a Doncic a day keeps eBay at bay. Does that make sense? I don't even know if that made any sense. 2005, exquisite. Gigantic fat ass black napkin patch, Garnett autograph. BGS 8 does $1,000. Giannis Downtown 10 does 1,010. The ugliest shoes maybe I've ever seen in my entire life. These look like Liberace plays for the Celtics. Jason Tatum, shame on you for ever even putting those on your feet. It looks like a handbag more than it does a pair of basketball shoes. And I'm pretty outside the box when it comes to kicks, man. I used to wear some crazy shit. Sometimes my left didn't even match my right. I had a little bit of that in me. But this is gross. But it's a 1-of-1. It's a BGS 9. And I know people love those sneaker spotlights. And I think those are really, really cool cards. And even though the shoes are ugly on this particular card, I think this insert set is really, really cool. 1,140, a LaMelo, a rookie horizontal 75 does BGS 9. I think people are just sick and tired. When he plays, he's freaking electric. I think people are just sick and tired of him continuously getting injured, and then the crap that's around him is just awful. I mean, we don't even know who the second best player on his team is. We got 2009 Topps Chrome Harden. We're going to look this up because this is his base. But remember, in 2009, these were serial numbered 99. Harden has been enduring some hardships in the hobby. Let's just put it that way. 1,170. Probably the best player who's the least collected. Is that a fair assessment? It's a Pop 60 card, even though there's 999 of them out there. The card's down 86% over the last 2 years. 86%. This card once sold for $9,349 less than 24 months ago, and last night it sold for a little over $1,000, $1,170. So Harden cards are taking a beating. Do you guys think he will ever be collectible? Will we ever have Harden collectors? I feel like he's almost like Karl Malone, where we don't really have collectors because you either don't like the way he plays or the way he acts off the court or the things he does off the court. Will people like Harden, people like Kyrie, these are first ballot Hall of Famers. First ballot Hall of Famers, both of them. Will their cards ever reflect their ability on the court? That's a really important thing to remember. When you're PCing a player, when you're collecting a player, I don't know. It's funny because some players, we overlook their off-court transactions. I won't say his name because I don't want to get murdered in the night by a bunch of people with pitchforks and torches. But one of the most collected players of all time wasn't exactly a saint off the court. And I'll be honest with you, Jordan wasn't exactly a saint off the court, albeit no criminal activity that we know of. But it's funny how the hobby just sort of has a selective memory and chooses what aspects of a particular player they choose to remember and kind of focus on, and it either does or it doesn't preclude them from collecting certain players as PC items. I don't know a single James Harden collector. Like, I don't know a single James Harden collector on planet Earth, and I apologize if one of my friends collects him and I just didn't remember. But like, same thing with Kyrie Irving. But these are two great players whose cards are drastically heading downward and really never were that collected, to be honest with you. There's a few other guys that come to mind that are in the same boat, that are first ballot Hall of Famers, probably top 50 to 100 players that ever lived. I'm just saying conservatively, safely, but they're just not collected. It's interesting, We got an 8.5 light All-Stars Jordan, 1170, a courtside gold Doncic second year, does 1230. A Zion does 1230. I'm not talking about any Zion cards, and I'm not talking about any Steph Curry patch autograph, non-patch autograph, non-rookie cards. I'm just not doing it because it takes up too much time. Cool dual patch LeBron BGS9 does 1230. Horrific autograph, not graded, weird. Everything about this is just weird. I think the card looks like it would be absolutely amazing. The autograph is real weak. The card's not graded. So a lot of things cutting against the value of this card, despite the fact that that would be a very fantastic card in and of itself. Serial number to 43 does 1230. That probably reflects in the price. This Iverson looks like a 10. The centering looks awesome, and the centering is the primary culprit on these cards. It's the 96 Finest Refractor PSA 9 Iverson 1230. One of Iverson's baddest, coolest looking rookie cards from 96. Does $1,230 in a PSA 9 condition. That's just fascinating to me. Wilt Chamberlain in action PSA 7 does 1230. Remember, there's the base, there's the in action. The in action sells for significantly less. I'm sorry. It's considered a subset card. 1230 for this one right here. So this is not like considered his true rookie card. Obviously, everybody knows that. We got a Color Blast Tatum from 2020 that does 1290. Stay tuned. We're about to get to a Color Blast Jokic that actually does really well coming up. But it's interesting results even for Jokic. We'll talk about it more in a second. 1290 for the Tatum. I think there's people out there who set collect these Color Blasts. I think there's people out there who set collect Kaboom. I don't think I'm revealing any secrets in the hobby, but I think that is driving a lot of this. People act like set collecting was, a bunch of old dudes with overalls and, slick back gray hair and spectacles digging through dollar boxes collecting 1974 Topps baseball sets. Dude, set collecting is alive and well out there, and there's a lot of money in set collecting. There's a lot of money to be made in set collecting, and there's a lot of money being spent in set collecting, and I can raise both hands because I'm spending a lot of money in set collecting, and I've made a lot of money in set collecting where I reach the finish line and then sell it, or I almost reach the finish line and then just give up. Really cool Tyrese Halliburton card. Is there anybody hotter than Tyrese Halliburton right now? If there is, I don't know who he is. Maxi's hot. Jokic is obviously on fire as far as his ability and his game. But Tyrese Halliburton is got to be in the MVP conversation at the very least. And I know the Pacers, team success in the long run probably won't permit him to sniff that award. But good Lord, like from a statistic standpoint, he's got to be right there behind Jokic, not equivalent to or even close to Jokic because he's doing otherworldly shit, but he's got to be in the conversation. I never would have guessed it, man. He just completely came off the radar. A little bit older, a little bit funky shot, a little bit awkward game, but man, he is a freaking dog. 1350, that's not even an NBA card. It's a Nike patch, college silhouettes from National Treasures Collegiate. Seen this card a few times. The Topps paper LeBron does 1380 in a PSA 10. Not talking about Zion. I'm just pissed. I'm going to the Pelicans game tonight, and that fat ass may not even play. I don't know. And when he does play, you don't know if he's going to play or if he's going to try. I don't know. It's all a joke now, and I think the people of Louisiana have kind of just gotten tired of the act, to be quite honest with you. The type of people that live down here, we're just not. I don't know. I can't speak for everybody because I wasn't even born here. But I know that the general consensus down here is that I think if you polled the citizens of Louisiana, or at least the NBA fans in the state of Louisiana who follow the Pelicans, I think 99% of them would pull the trigger on any kind of package to get us somebody back for Zion and just move on and just be done with it, because it's almost like a freight train that you see the lights in the distance coming. It's only a matter of time before this ends disastrously. The problem is I don't know who wants him. I don't know where he fits and what, he's got such a weird style of game, and then you don't know if he's there, and then if he's there, you don't know if he's really playing. I'm just not talking about him, but here I was talking about him for a minute. LeBron, flawless patches, ruby, pretty cool looking patch there. Red, purple, yellow, not gonna work. 1470. Speaking of hot players, holy crap. I think he set the record for the most threes made in a 5-game span for a Chicago Bulls player in history, and that's including Zach LaVine, who shot a shitload of threes, and Craig Hodges, although they didn't take threes as much back then. But this flawless Kobe white rookie patch auto 1 of 1 does $1,500. That's a pretty good price for a player who's pretty damn on fire right now. I know because he's on my fantasy team and I got him for pennies. Let's look up the Kobe Take It to .net. This is gonna surprise you. This is a quad gem, only $1,530. Let's look at the card. There it is. Significantly down from the last sale of $2,000, but about on par with the sale before that of $1,370, a little bit higher than that. So it's a 7.27% rate of growth over the last 5 sales over the last 1 year. Just hard to kind of make any sense out of that. I would just chill. I think it's probably a $1,500 to $2,000 card. Obviously, if you're a Kobe Bryant collector, it's probably a tier 2 card for you as a serial numbered card from the 90s. Moving along, we got a Victor Wembanyama Tiger Stripe Choice Draft Picks Pajama card, $1,560. Just to put it in perspective, somebody just paid for a Pajama Wemby Tiger Stripe Choice PSA 10, where we don't even know what the print run is. They paid more for that than a Kobe Bryant, and again, I bag on Kobe all the time, but Kobe Bryant is anywhere from 5 to 10 ranked player that ever played the sport of basketball. 9.5 serial numbered card from 25 years ago, and the Wemby outsells it. Good luck in the long term on that card, whoever bought it. 2021 1-and-1 LaMelo Ball Black, $1,590 sounds low, but remember, this is not his rookie, okay? So this is not his rookie year. It's a 2021 1-of-1 Black, and I don't know where the hobby is on 1-and-1. I know some people love it. Some people aren't sure about it. I know there's inserts in there that people really like. I think it's 2 cards in a box, which is why it's called 1-and-1. This is a black, so it's a good card. It is what it is. I think that's Vujicic trying to not foul him in the background. I like these cards. Panini Preferred Silhouettes Prime Kawhi does $1,590 and an 8.5. A green Kobe 9.5 Chrome Base does $1,650. The card that probably fell more than any card in the universe during this pandemic run that we had. The Star Date 9.5 Quad Gem sells for $1,650. We're going to see a lot of these Kareems. This PSA 6 sells for $1,650. This PSA 6 sells for $1,710. These are not low pop cards, and these are not doing well. And I know the kind of general, if you're not really looking closely at prices and you don't do a PWCC recap, every Monday like I do, you may not notice, but vintage cards aren't necessarily weathering the storm very good either. I mean, they're not falling like, Doncic Silver Prisms or Zion Base Prisms, but, these cards aren't doing great right now. And I don't remember. Yeah, I did look it up. Okay, so this Kareem card in a PSA 6, which it's a working man's grade, right? A PSA 6, PSA 7 kind of is the working man's grade. That might be the grail of somebody's collection if they're a vintage collector. A PSA 6 Kareem, and it was a good looking copy. This card down 27% in the last year. If we go up to let's go to the PSA 5. PSA 5 is flat even, which is odd because it's higher pop and a worse generally a worse card. PSA 7's down 13%, and it's a much lower pop. So even the most recognizable of vintage cards probably isn't doing all that great. But, again, it's probably outperforming the basketball card index, generally speaking. Chrome 9.5, Min Gem LeBron does 1740. God, those things have fallen so much. Bowman's Best Picks, Atomic Refractor Kobe Die Cut, BGS 9 does 1800. Here's the Color Blast Jokic. I'm going to look it up because it's interesting. And the other thing is, look, if you guys are searching for Color Blasts, whether to get comps or to try to find it on eBay, realize that the PSA labels, sometimes they smush the words together, Color Blast, all one word, which I don't think exists, but they smush them together, and then sometimes it appears correctly the way it does here, where it's color space blast. So if you're looking at it in the Cardladder database, from what I can tell, Cardladder just matches whatever the PSA label did. And the PSA has decided some of them are Color Blast 1 word, some of them are Color Blast 2 words, so pay attention to that. This Spectra Color Blast Jokic 2020, 1830, and I've got it pulled up here. There it is, 1830 right there. That's significantly down from the June sale, probably because Jokic is playing so bad, right? I mean, he's only averaging 30, 13 and 10. He's only leading the NBA in total rebounds, total assists, and total points. Not really doing anything this year other than carrying his team without their all-star level point guard and doing anything and everything that any player in the history of basketball has ever done. Going to go down as one of the greatest centers of all time. Yes, I'm saying that prematurely. He got to make sure he doesn't get hit by a bus tomorrow. But if the guy plays 8 to 10 more years, unquestionably, I know this is going to sound like sacrilege, and especially, it's coming from a 90s collector and a guy that's, going to have a lot of fond memories of guys that played in the 80s and 90s. Dude's going to pass Hakeem. Dude's going to pass David Robinson. Obviously, he's already passed Ewing. He's going to pass, a lot of those guys that are considered, top 10 centers of all time. This guy's already passed a lot of those guys. Go look at the numbers, and you can talk all you want about how it's a different era. Go look at the numbers. He is absolutely special, even when compared to his peers in this era. Jordan 1, if you ever wanted to know how cheap you can get into a Jordan with a numerical PSA label, here's your answer. 1830 right there for the Jordan 1. Kobe autograph patch does 1860. The Crunch and Munch Jordan, which I need for my 8.5 set. I'm trying to collect all 25-star Jordan cards in 8.5. The Crunch and Munch I still need. I tried to snag it for 1860. I tried to snag it for... Where'd it go? Here we go. I think I was probably somewhere around the 1,700 mark, trying to get it for a little bit less than the last one, but it ran again. So the card's 1,575, 1,600, 1,825, 1,860. So 3 consecutive upward sales. It is actually up almost 18% over the last year. So somebody has given a big FU bird to the market. The Chalk Toss Base Chrome Refractor LeBron. I said base. It's just a regular refractor because there's an orange, there's an X-Fractor, there's gold, there's all kinds of colors. This is just a regular refractor, PSA 10, 1890 for that card. The Jordan exclamation points out of the sleeve the way God intended with the Jordan 1s. This BGS 9 right here is up 5% over the last year, up from the last sale of 1775 to 1950. So another Jordan card that's given an FU to the market. The Finite LeBron BGS 9. These are really cool old looking stamped serial numbers down here. 2010 Giannis, one of his better patch autographs. I guess I shouldn't say better looking. I think it's really good looking aesthetically, even though there's not much going on in the patch. And he wrote a whole paragraph for an autograph down here. 2013 Gold Standard. These are I thought these were serial numbered, but apparently they're not. The BGS 9 does 2070. I remember those were much more than that. Kareem 6.5, that half grade, does it matter? Sure it does. 2070. Jolly Rancher Tatum does 2100. Another Silhouettes Prime here. Wait, this is not Prime. This is just Silhouettes. Panini Preferred. I thought it was called Silhouettes. No, maybe it's not. Oh yeah, there's Silhouettes. They left it off the label. They left it off in the PWCC description. They should probably put Silhouettes on there. That seems important. Huge patch. Really cool Playmakers Theater looking embroidery around the side and a really cool autograph. 2160 for that Kobe. A blue retro LeBron from 2011 does 2190. Let's look up the Kawhi Leonard 2012 Prism Silver and see the journey that this card's been on. We talked about Harden and Kyrie being collectible, players that were first ballot Hall of Famers but are not really that collectible or not that collected. Here's your Kawhi. Sold for $2,400. The last 13 sales, it's down 46%. If we look at it over the last 2 years, it's down almost 50%. This card sold for $7,800 on July 17th, 2022. If we go look at all time, the card once sold for, are you sitting down for this? $26,250. Just smack dab in the middle of that explosion, the bubble. It was at the very tip top of the bubble that burst. $26,250. You can buy it for 1/10 of the price today for $2,400. And that is not a high pop card. That is a pop 42 card, rookie card of a first ballot Hall of Famer, probably one of his most recognizable non-RPA rookies in existence. It's actually got a really good gem rate, especially with BGS. God damn, 80.8%. That's bananas. Is what it is. Giannis Gold Prism sells for more. Let's just put that in perspective. A 10th year Giannis Gold Prism from 2022 sells for $2,520, and the Kawhi Silver pop in the 40s PSA 10 rookie card sells for $2,400. Interesting times. How about this? This 10th year Gold Prism Giannis outsells a Giannis 2013 Exquisite Collection autograph BGS 9.5 serial number to 75 rookie card. So that's how nuts these gold collectors are. Let's look up the Jordan. This we call it the Bombardiers. It's really just the season's best, and this just happens to be across the top of the card. It never shows up on the label. It never shows up, if you got to do a search, don't search Bombardiers, search SB6. That's the easiest way to find it. But this is 1998, so PSA 10. It is a really good-looking Jordan card. I'll be honest with you, this card in hand is freaking gorgeous. It's like Willy Wonka just threw up on the background of the card, and it came out gloriously. 2000, it's almost like it's raining color behind him. It's almost like a rainstorm of like colors, right? Roy G. Biv. Everybody knows Roy G. Biv if you went to school in the 80s. $2,520 for this card. Let's look it up. Where is it? There it is. Up. From there. So 1920. This is the highest this card sold for since, guess when? 2021. 2,520 for this card last night. That is a huge jump over the last one and the one before that. And guys, if we look at this, the gem rate, 5% PSA, 4% BGS. Combined gems in the world. I used to do this on these Explore the Card episodes every Friday for Jordan, where we'd look at the combined gem rates between PSA and BGS, because that's important. 42 in the world. So if you want a gem copy of this Bombardiers SB6, PSA 10, or BGS 9.5, there's 42 of them in the world. It's just not enough to go around. And it's just, that's why that card's going up when all these other cards we're looking at is going down. It's just that simple. I guess the easiest way to put it in perspective, and it's not like I'm partial to Jordan, right? So this is going to be so objective. Jordan has more cards that mean something to people than any other player in any other sport. Let's just put it that way. And the hierarchy is a testament to that I put together. There are people out there where there are cards in tier 4. We're talking about cards that are ranked, subjectively by me in the 200s. That means something to people that they need. They don't want. They need it to feel like their collection is complete. And I think Jordan is unique in that aspect. I don't think there are other very collected players. Don't get me wrong, but the timing, the player, what he did on the court, what he did off the court, what he's doing off the court, notwithstanding his ownership and GM skills, just when his cards were created has a lot to do with it as well. Being first to the plate eats is a nice saying down here in Louisiana, nice colloquialism. He has more cards, more unique cards that mean things to collectors than any other player in any other sport, period. End of story. Fight me if you don't agree. The most diamond cut card maybe I've ever seen in my life. It's just hard to look at. It looks like somebody took scissors and cut a diagonal across the top. This is a Credentials raw copy, 2520. Those Credentials, of course, were serial number to 499. Even the base card looks really good. This row is interesting because you got 3 cards that are very unique, and I very much like all three of these cards. I didn't bid on any of them, but like I like these cards. The Trae Young has fallen so far, and he's still putting up numbers. Again, is he going to win a title? No. You know why? Because little people never win titles. Isaiah Thomas is the only player in the history of the NBA to be the alpha little person and win a title. No other little person has ever won a title. And don't tell me Koozie, because those were Russell's rings, and don't tell me Steph Curry, because he's 6'4", 200 pounds. And that is very different than being a little person like Isaiah or Trae Young. So little people don't win titles. If you're banking on a little person to win a title, you need to move on and get somebody that's taller, because it just doesn't happen. There's 75 years of NBA basketball to back me up on that. 2018 Optic Gold Trae autograph BGS 9.5 quad gem, 10 for the autograph, serial number to 10, does 2640. This is a really cool Dame that I considered looking at, but I'm just too much of a grade snob, especially on modern stuff. This 2012 Flawless patch gold parallel is serial numbered 1 out of 10. It's got an awesome patch. It looks great with that gold foil border there. Dame's autograph always looks like a Chinese symbol, some kind of, what do you call it? Constellations. What do you call that? Astrology symbol. I don't even know what I'm looking at, but it's apparently his autograph. It looks like dope, like something that Homer Simpson would say. 2,640, a black gold standard. Gold standard black doesn't make sense because gold is in the name, black is in the name, but this is the black 1 of 1, even though it's gold in the background and black in the background. I like this card. I like the pose. I like the look. I just don't like the product, and neither did anybody else. That's why it only sold for $27.60. I like this pickup. Whoever picked this up, congrats. I think that's a very, very good pickup. I'm starting to come around on Tatum. I used to be team Jaylen Brown, but he can't dribble at all or make any decisions, and Tatum is clearly the alpha on that team, and it's a team to be reckoned with. Everybody's sleeping on him because Porzingis was out a little bit. They lost a few games. Those suckers are going to be a huge, huge bear in the East. They are going to be the big bully in the East before it's all said and done. They're going to run away with the East. That's a fact. It's going to happen. Just wait for it as soon as they all stay healthy. 96 Hot Shots 8 does 2760, a 9.5 Jordan subset. Number 2 from 1986 Star does 2880. Jordan BGS 6 does 2880. Flawless. I'm going to keep going a little bit quicker. Here's one I do want to look at. 98 Skybox Thunder. Noise Boys Shaquille O'Neal PSA 10 does 3,240. I recently sold this card, and I think I got more out of it than 3,240. So I thought this was going to go for a little bit more. Hadn't sold since May. 3,240 here. If we look at the card, it is a pretty high gem rate, to be honest with you, but there's just not that many of them out there. It's been graded 110 times, and there are only 32 gem copies out there. So that seems like a low number for a really important. That's a tier 2 card in the Jordan hierarchy. I assume it would be a tier 2 card in the Shaquille O'Neal hierarchy if there was one, hypothetically. 3,240 is a big jump from 2,200, which is a big jump from 1,600. It's almost double, right? So we're seeing some good results there on Shaquille O'Neal. It's not all bad. Jordan Take It to .net PSA 9. Got it pulled up. Doing just fine, up 8%, which it's basically even over the last year, but it's a consistent little tiny growth, it looks like. After it dipped from 3,000, it's fought its way back to be consistently over 3,000, and last night it sold for 3,240. Remember, those are serial numbered to $9.99. If you see a copy that doesn't have a serial number on it, please don't buy it. Thank you. Patch autograph LeBron from his St. Vincent St. Mary stuff, 3360. SGC 7 Jordan sells for 3360 as well. 2 more Kareem. So we've seen the 6s, a pair of 6s, a 6.5. Now we're seeing a pair of 7s. They sell for $33.60 and $34.80 respectively. I last week sold, maybe actually 2 weeks ago, I sold the Fast Break Blue, serial number to 175, BGS 9.5 Quad Gem. And I can't remember what I sold it for, but it was not this much. The PSA does $3,600 for that poor man's Doncic color match. Remember, the blue ice is what everybody wants, right? They've deemed the blue ice and the true blue as the big dogs, even though the true blue is actually a higher serial numbered than the Fast Break, but nobody gives a shit, right? The same thing I said 2 weeks ago. Nobody gives a shit. They want the blue. They don't want the Fast Break blue. The Kobe Bowman's Best Atomics Dry Cut BGS 9.5 Quad does $3,600 and 8.5 8.5 gigantic comic book card. This is a lot of people aver, I think this is it, yeah, that this might be the first ever Jordan Star card printed. Everybody who collects Star, relax, calm down. Steve Taft, everybody calm down. I'm just telling you what I read. Some people say that this one was actually printed first, but it's not considered the rookie because it's oversized and it's not part of a base set. It's actually an insert set, I think. 8.5 BGS does 3,600 right there. I actually own a copy of that card in that grade. The Topps Rockstars Refractor, bad news. So it's doing poorly in the hobby, even with Corliss Williamson and Bobby Jackson in the background. This PSA 10 does 3,720. I've got it pulled up. It's heading downward, to be honest with you. There's 65 of them. 13 have sold in the last year. The card started down in the 3,300s. It rose precipitously to 5,160 as a high over the last year, and then it's kind of worked its way down and kind of meandered down here to 3,720, so almost right back to where it was. If you ignore the recent downward trend, the card's actually still up 10.7% over the last year, in a year where basketball cards have nosedive. So again, Jordan versus the basketball cards that don't feature Jordan. Jordan's winning. Hot Hands, I know who picked this up. My good friend on Instagram. Congrats to you, sir. You got it at a good price, and it's a really, really interesting card. There's just not very many of these cards out there. This is this card, more than any card from the 2000s, is reminds me of a card that you would see in the 1990s. Sort of got that Hot Shots kind of feel to it, and that's why it's called Hot Hands. So tricky there. This is not a legacy collection. This was posted in my Jordan group, and I was like, God damn, that legacy collection went for cheap. 4,080, I would have bought it, and I wasn't paying attention. This is not the legacy collection. This is the base. So the row 0 this year was actually serial numbered to 250. It was a serial numbered card. It looks kind of like the legacy collection, but it's not the legacy collection. It is the 97 Flair Showcase row 0 base, which is serial number to 250. I think this card, I still need to pick this up. I don't think I have this card. I got to check my vault. 4,080. LeBron Topps Chrome, the go-to flagship, 4440. I remember when those were selling for $40,000 plus. Yes, you heard me right. So that's a 90% decline. A 9.5 Jordan number 117. That is a Jordan second year base card. That's the true base second year card, number 117. That does 4,440. This is an interesting stuff. 2014 Select Gold Prism Patch Autograph. Interesting card if you like that starburst pattern in the background. I don't personally like that. I know some people do. I just don't care for it. Number 10 out of 10. Really awesome color match. I mean, this card is pretty cool, even with the starburst shit in the background. 4560. And this card really surprised me. That is a very, very low sale for a 92 team leader. I didn't look closely at the condition of the card to see if it deserved that grade, but something's going on because that card is down. I know I assigned way more trade value. I think I assigned an 8,500 trade value for that card in Rosemont when I got a deal done for some Giannis cards. I traded some Giannis for this team leader. With my friend from Las Vegas, and I think I attributed an $8,500 value, so I look like a moron. It's at $4,500 now, $4,600 before that, and $4,900 before that. It's a pop 48, and guys, it's a 6% gem rate, and then Beckett's just straight up saying you shall not pass. 0.81% gem rate with Beckett, so tough card to gem. Really early Jordan insert PSA 10. Again, over the last year, this one's down 23%, which is really, really interesting. That's really surprising to me. Surprising sale. Congrats to the buyer. I think it's a great pickup. If again, I did not look closely at the condition to see if it was PSA 10 worthy. I think this is one of those huge ass cards. I don't know much about it. I've seen them before. It's from 2016, which I tune out after 2002 and Jordan's Wizards years. 72 Topps Irving PSA 8.5 half grade vintage does 4,680. Kevin Durant, 2007 SP Authentic, serial number 399, does 4,800. That's a BGS 1010. That's a pop 6 card. That's a humongous Durant card. And again, he's another guy. I see more Durant collectors than Kyrie and Harden and Kawhi, but like, I don't see a lot of real passionate Durant collectors out there either. I don't know if it's the way he is off the court with the burners and all that shit or the team switching. I don't really know what the reason is, but one of the most gifted scorers of all time. He's like George Gervin on steroids in every way. 2016, Jaylen Brown, BGS 9.5 with an absolutely glorious kid and play, high top fade. This card does 4,920. It's a mixed gem 9.5. I'm pretty sure I looked it it up, and there it is. Welcome to your half price discount, man. Just 10 months ago, the card sold for $10,200. The $49.20 sale last night, maybe somebody else noticed he can't dribble, and that's why the cards are going down. That is the lowest sale since May of 2022. Since May of 2022. No, that is the lowest sale since 2018. In fact, that is not good. That's the second lowest sale ever. Of that card. That is really indicative of what's going on with the Jalen market. Luckily, I got out. And you're going to look at this and you're going to see, sorry you lost this item and think it was a mistake and my little cousin bid on it, right? That's the message you get when people don't want to pay for cards they want. Oh, I'm sorry, my cousin or my 9-year-old son accidentally bid on and made an offer and won your card on eBay. I'm not going to pay. That's what it looks like, because Cajun Cardboard doesn't buy stuff like this. Yes, I just referred to myself in the third person. No, I just saw the card and I was like, God, I'd love to steal this card. I've started to dabble a little bit in the ultra modern stuff. Not a crazy number, but like, I like Cade Cunningham. He's not shooting the ball well, but I see enough to know he's gonna shoot it well at some point. I truly do believe that, and he's got just prototypical huge positional size. And I see a lot of that ultra lead guard type stuff that Harden and Doncic and LeBron and those guys have. It's Pop 1. It's serial number 2 out of 10, which just so happens to be his jersey number. It's got a million colors in the patch. The autograph looks good. It's a Gem Plus. I probably should have chased this harder. I like that buy. Like, as far as the ultra modern stuff goes last night, that's probably my favorite buy of the night, and I probably should have chased it harder. But every time I think about chasing these cards hard, I'm like, what can I buy in the Jordan market that I don't already have? Patch, Kobe here does 5,280. That's a pretty badass patch. Bird Magic autograph 5280. Jordan PSA 8 Noise Boys 5400. Kevin Durant refractor BGS 10, another huge Durant card, does 5640. Those were serial numbered to 1499. So the Chrome refractors were 500 higher serial number than the 2009 Chrome base Harden that we saw. Anyway, moving along, Bill Russell 3.5 does 5880. And yeah, here I am again. I tried to sneak this one too because he's going to go down as a top 10, I mean, I don't know what the rest of his career has, depending on how it unfolds. Joel Embiid is going to be in that conversation with those guys, with the David Robinsons and guys like that. I think before it's all said and done, he's going to be in that conversation. I don't know. Let's just let it play out. He's got to do more. 2014 National Treasures. This is the gold parallel, serial number to 25. BGS 9.5 does $6,000. That seems really low to me. Really low to me. The Giannis Orange continues to diminish, 7,200. I still don't have this. You guys know I've basically whittled down my Giannis PC to only rookie color prism 9.5s. And so this was a card that I made a stab at. I made a run at it, and I lost it. Even though it was down from the last sale, I still didn't win it. I still wasn't willing to go there. It's down 62%, people, over the last year. This card sold for over $18,000 3 times within the last year, and now it's selling for $7,200. How much further can it possibly drop? Again, Giannis is putting up great numbers. I don't know if people are down on the Bucks or whatever. 3 Steph cards, I'm not talking about them. Steve Nash Metal Universe PMG Red from 1997. It's a BGS 7.5. I've got Stevie Nash pulled up. Here we go. 7,500 is not a good sale. It's an indication that the card's gone down from the last few sales. A BGS 7 and a PSA 5 are what and what, right? As we say in Louisiana. So this is about the equivalent of a PSA 5. If you took this card and you crossed it to PSA, it's getting a 5. I'm guaranteed. It's not going to get a 6. It's going to get a 5. This is the way it is. I've done it a million times. It's the way it is. It might even get a 4. But those are about equivalent, and it sold for $3,300 less. Even if you go back to the last PSA 4, that sold for $8,666. Again, that was in 2021. Most of these cards, I bet you anything, this card's been bought or sold 10 times in the last 2 years. You're only going to see 2 of them because it doesn't happen on public platforms. PMGs don't transact very often on public platforms. The mid ones, right? The Nashes, the Drexlers, the Olajuwons, the Robinsons, the freaking Reggie Millers. You don't see those at auction very often, so you're not going to have a lot of data. You got to get in the weeds, and you got to know the people that mess around with the PMG Reds. I bet you that card sold many. In fact, I know mine's probably not on here. This card has sold many more times in the last 2 years than just those 2, so I don't know what the real market is. Here's the PSA 761 Fleer, and as you can see, this buffers my assertion that Clearly, the true base cards from 1961 Fleer are worth more than the in-action cards. We knew that, right? That's not a revelation. $9,000 for that crispy, delicious, tasty morsel. Wilt Chamberlain, PSA 7, old label. A Kobe Exquisite Patch Auto, BGS 810 does $10,800. Here's a cool Steph card, the 2021 Flawless. I don't know. It's got so many words in the label. I don't even know how to say it. I'm just going to read this. Update 20 star Steph Curry Patch Auto DNA 10 PSA 9. There you go. 11.4. This looks like it's a pair of Jordan PSA 8s, but it's actually the entire 86 Fleer complete set. But then it gets even more confusing because it's a mixed set, which is a no-no in the hobby. People don't want that shit, okay? You're never going to get full value. I'm not trying to tell people what to do here, but like, it's a mixed set where the cards are between grades 6 and 9. That's a big difference. People who want 9s, people who are collecting a PSA 9 Fleer set, do not want your PSA 6s. They don't want them at all. It's trash. They don't want that, right? PSA 6 86 Fleer cards, if it doesn't have Jordan on it, people do not want those. Trust me, I know. I've bought and sold, I've not bought, but I've sold millions of them. They're just not wanted. They just don't carry value. Even the stickers, for God's sakes, don't carry value in a PSA 6, and those grade much harder than the base. So my only advice out there, and I know this for a fact, this should have been split up, and I know it's a pain in the ass, but just let PWCC sell the cards individually. If you want to pair the Jordans, pair the Jordans. But like, let it go, because if there is a PSA 6 or PSA 7 set collector out there, you're not going to get them to buy this because they don't want your 8s and 9s. And most collectors are PSA 8 or 9. If they wanted to buy your, Bill Laimbeer PSA 9, they're not buying a complete set with a bunch of PSA 6s and 7s in it. So your best bet is to break this up and sell them individually. So especially if it's a mixed set. If it was a complete PSA 9 set, go for it. If it's a complete PSA 6 set, go for it. But you're not getting full value when you sell your mixed set like this, because whoever bought this is going to break this up and make a ton of money. I guarantee it. I'm positive. I haven't even run the numbers on it. I don't know the math. I just know whoever bought this is going to break this up and make a ton of money on it, keep what they want and sell what they don't. Here we go, top 3. Enough of my lecturing. An 86 Fleer Jordan PSA 9. His card's down, man. It's down. We saw the Jordan doing really well at one point in the green, and now it's down a full 20% over the last 6 months only. So down 20% over the last year. The card is down 34%. Is it because there's 2,962? Maybe. I don't know. What's the PSA 10 doing? PSA 10's up 12.56%, and that pop is 322. So Jordan PSA 9 down a little bit. And again, not every PSA 9 is the same, and you guys know that. Old labels versus new labels, and just card versus card, it's not always the same. So it's not a simple science. There's a lot more that you've got to do. Hey, I got to click the thing and look at the back of the card. Have you looked at the back? Here's the rich man's Luka Doncic color match, right? The blue ice, and it's beautiful. There's no denying it. The blue ice is just the best color match Doncic rookie card out there. It's also serial numbered half of the blue, a little bit less than half, 99 versus 199. This blue ice PSA 10 sold for $16,200, which sounds like buku money. I wanted to show you this first. Remember, what did we say it was serial number 2? 99. How many times has it been graded? 110. Is 110 more than 99? Yes. So what does that mean? That means people are cracking and resubbing. Why are they cracking and resubbing? Because look at the freaking gem rate and look at the arbitrary nature of it. There's 41 10s and 14 9s. There's 26 BGS 9.5s and 10 BGS 9s. So it makes sense. If you don't get a gem, crack it and resub it and just try until you get it. And then don't turn in your label. And that's how we get to where we are. If we look at the value of the card, pretty drastically ugly, right? From 28.5 to 24, all the way down to 16.2. A lot of people in the hobby have been talking about how much further cards like this, I'm not talking about Jordan cards and Kobe 90s and vintage. We're talking about these types of cards. How much further are they going to drop? What is happening? Why is it happening? Is it the player? Is it the brand? Is it the product? Is it the pop? Is it the performance? What's going on? How much is it going to drop? And a lot of people out there put up a lot of bullshit graphs and put up a lot of data in there. And I'm not going to name names, but y'all are going to be able to figure it out if you follow on Instagram. And they tell you what's going to happen. I am telling you, ignore those people. Ignore those people. Anybody who tells you they know what cards are going to do over the next 1, 2, 5, 10 years, Those are not people you need to be following. You do not need to listen to people that are going to tell you what cards are going to do. I sit here and I tell you what cards have done, and I conjecture and I make my own educated decisions based on historical data, whether I think it is a good time to purchase those cards, even if I don't intend to ever sell the card, ever. I just want to know if I'm buying it at a good price. You have to examine data, right? And that is why Cardladder, Market Movers, all whatever the hell you want to use, you can't be in the card game without using those products. But I would highly advise you to use a lot of skepticism with the know-it-alls out there who are telling you what cards are going to do. Looking at massive indexes that include thousands of different types of cards of different players in different grades from different decades and different products. It doesn't make sense to lump all that crap together and tell you what the future holds. It's like saying everybody in the world is going to be nicer in 5 years. And here's why. That's stupid. Like, you can't group people together. Tall people, short people, white people, black people, fat people, skinny people, mean people, nice people. Like, it's dumb. It's stupid. Like, you're grouping all these cards together and using cards and saying, here's what cards are going to do. Dude, there's a million cards. There's people out there making millions of dollars a year right now selling cards. Trust me, in the middle of a bloodshed market on certain other types of cards. There's definitely ways to make money in cards if you're the investor type. It just takes time, manpower, work, effort, diligence, inspection, thoughtfulness. Again, I would just, another lecture. I've lectured at least 2 or 3 times, so I apologize for that. But like, I would chill on reading anybody's graphs and panicking one way or the other, or getting excited or getting unexcited. I would just make your own choices, research your own data, put in your own time, and make your own decisions. 2009 Topps Chrome, Steph Curry. This is the base, right? We saw the Harden. This is the base Curry. It's serial number to 999, PSA 10. This card has been absolutely destroyed, right? Over the last year and a half. I've got it pulled up right there. Down 65% over the last 2 years. This Steph Curry card. It's a Pop 61. So is it a high pop card? No. Is it a player who just didn't work out and just hasn't panned out? No. He's also like almost to the LeBron level, defying father time, and he's fantastic. Can the Golden State win anything this year? No, of course not. They've got to make a lot of changes. And his days of winning rings are probably over. But Steph is still doing his thing. Steph is going to be a top 10 player of all time if he's not already there. I have him right there. This card is, are there better cards out there? Yeah. But will this card be sought after by true collectors one day? If not yet, I think it will. So I am not going to sit here and tell you 16,000, what did it sell for? 19,800 is the bottom. I'm not going to tell you it's going to fall to 5,000. I'm just going to look at the data that's come before us and make an educated decision. I do know this. I know how to read a green line, and the green line says it was steadily significantly decreasing in value for a certain time period, down 65% over 2 years. But when we shorten this, it gets better. 19% down over the last year. Okay, well, that's not the end of the world. 13% over the last 6 months. Well, that's not that bad. 5% over the last 3 months. Well, I've seen worse, right? In the middle of a horrible market. Oh, what do you know? This one actually sold for 11% more than the last one. So I'm taking that information. Let me get you off here. I'm taking that information and making an educated decision that maybe we have hit the bottom. Do I know we've hit the bottom? No. Could the next one sell for $13,500? Sure, it just did it with the blue, but the blue Ice Doncic didn't have the last 4 sales that we saw on the Steph Curry, where you have a steep decline and then a bottoming out gradually, not just a one sale that matched and then it started to run again. We have a gradual bottoming out with numerous sales for a Pop 61 card, and then we see a rise right here. Do I think the next one's going to sell for more than 19,800? Maybe. Do I think it's going to sell for less than 19,800? Maybe. But at least I'm a little more educated now about this particular card. Not that I'm buying Steph Curry, because I have no dog in this hunt. But I think this is the kind of information and data that people can use to make more educated decisions. It's no different than the stock market. Anybody who tells you they know what stock's going up, if they knew what stock was going up, A, they wouldn't be telling you. They wouldn't be sharing it with anybody. And B, they'd be cheating because nobody knows shit about stocks. Anybody who says they do is full of shit. You don't know what stocks are going to do because you don't know if there's going to be a third world war. You don't know what's going to happen in the world. You just can make educated guesses based on doing more research and putting in more time educating yourself on stocks and on cards than the rest of the world. You're just looking for that slight fractional competitive competitive advantage, no different than an NBA player who hones his skills in the summer to get 1% of 1% better, because that might be the difference between being a pretty good NBA player and making an all NBA team and getting a bag, right? And so we're doing the same thing. We're just trying to fill our brains with as much data and as much information as possible to be as educated as we can. And again, I am not preaching from the pulpit like I've got it all figured out. Remember, I know my brain's so small, I can only focus on one particular player, and I'm still a minnow amongst whales when it comes to understanding the products, the parallels, the cards for Jordan, and that's all I do. And it's one player in one era of basketball card collecting. So I am always in awe of the people who know so much about so many different basketball cards, let alone these freaks of nature out there who can know so much about baseball, basketball, football, hockey, soccer. It's amazing to me. So kudos to you guys. I'm just a little dude down here in Louisiana who's hyper-focused on pretty much one particular player in one particular decade, and I still can't possibly keep up, and I spend a lot of time trying to keep up. So that's it, guys. That's the end of it. Let me go back real quick and show you guys our top, because I always like to recap here. So we got Steph, Doncic, Jordan. Complete set Jordan, basically. Steph, Kobe. And by the way, let me know in the comments if you think I'm crazy. I have not done any of the math, but if there's two PSA 8 Jordans in there, the sticker and the base, if there's any PSA 9 Hall of Famers, I mean, if you add it all up, somebody just gave away a lot of money. This would have sold for much more. Depending on how many PSA 9s there are, I think it would have sold probably for much more. If it would have been broken up. I would break it up. That's just me. I broke up a PSA 10 set, and I broke up all my PSA 9s and PSA 8 sets, and they were all the same set, let alone a mixed set. Mixed set definitely needs to be broken up. And then Wilt, Steph, and Nash, that beautiful Nash. Well, look at his hair. It's just perfect. Like he could be your accountant at any given time. Anyway, that's it. That's weekly number 99. Crazy. The next weekly will be triple digits. Weekly auction number 100. If you guys like these weekly auction recaps, if you like PWCC, consider buying on there. If you do consider buying, go into my YouTube description, scroll down. I've got an affiliate link. You can support my channel with no money coming out of your pocket by buying or selling on PWCC Weekly. If you want to know more about how to sell on the PWCC Weekly, in these weekly auctions, or even the premier auctions, if you got some big dogs, I'd love you for it. You can use the promo code Cajun, C-A-J-U-N, all capital letters, when you submit those cards for sale on PWCC. If you're worried about the tech and the interface and you don't know how to send your cards to PWCC to let them do all of the work instead of doing it yourself on eBay or some other platform, I've got a video attached to this PWCC Weekly Recap in the thumbnail right in about 10 seconds. All you got to do is click on that, and I'll show you how to send your cards to PWCC to sell in the next weekly auction. Thank you guys for watching. As always, it's Monday. I hope you have a great weekend in and out of the hobby. I'm going to watch the Pelicans and the Timberwolves tonight. I really want to go see Anthony Edwards again. Last time he got hung with a couple of shitty fouls and the refs kind of screwed him over. So I want to see Anthony Edwards, now that he's healthy, had a little bit of time off. I want to see him get after it and have a good game with the Pelicans tonight. And by the way, it is my fourth child's birthday, my second daughter's birthday today. She turns 18. I'm super proud of her. We're bringing the whole family down to the Pelicans game. And I'm excited about that and spending some time with her. So happy birthday, Grace. And I hope you have a great birthday. And I hope you guys have a great week in and out of the hobby. Keep collecting, stay positive in the hobby, and peace.